Heyo, I'm Rule, aka Mega Blitz. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Espathra EX. Now, I've been trying to find a deck that I want to play when rotation comes around, and Espathra EX might be that deck. This deck really seems to be doing good in our current meta, and not a single card except Radiant Alakazam rotates out of this deck. Everything is a new card, and I really am trying to get ahead of the curve here when coming to what deck to play going forward, and I think Espathra EX might be that deck that just nothing rotates. It's pretty solid, it takes some pretty decent matchups, it's really fun to play, and on top of that, it's good in our current meta game. So let's jump right in to that deck list. Already here at that deck list with Espathra EX being the star of the show. It is a stage 1 260 HP grass type Pokemon with that Terra ability, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks both yours and your opponent's if it's on the bench. It has an ability Dazzling Gaze. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, attacks used by your opponent's active Pokemon cost 1 colorless more. And then, of course, it's attack your Ball for just 1 psychic energy, 30 plus. This attack does 30 damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon, so it calculates not only the energy attached to our Espathra, but also attached to our opponent's active Pokemon as well. So, other key cards I want to point out in the deck here, we are playing 3 copies of this Xatu here with this ability, Clairvoyant Sense. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic psychic energy card from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, if you attach a energy card in this way, you draw 2 cards. So that's kind of our draw engine. And on top of that being, you know, an energy accelerator as well. With Dusknoir running around, it can be a little difficult to navigate around that at times. But you don't really need a Xatu more than once, maybe twice during the game to kind of just get some energy into play, get them on your Espathra, draw some cards, and go from there. We're playing 2 copies of the Budew with that Itchy Pollen attack for free, no energy requirement, 10 damage during your opponent's next turn that they can't play any item cards. Kind of for the same reason we're playing the same reason everyone else is playing this card. We're just trying to really just buy ourselves a turn or two, right? We also have Fezandipiti for flip the script. We have Flutter Mane in there for that Midnight Fluttering attack. As long as the Pokemon's in your active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon have no abilities except Midnight Fluttering, and we can attack with it with that Hex Hurl, 90 damage, put 2 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon. We have 4 research, 4 Iono. We're really trying to Iono spam a lot in this deck. 2 boss, 1 Briar, 4 Buddy-Buddy Poffin, because everything in this deck can be found off of Buddy-Buddy Poffin except our Fezandipiti, Radiant Alakazam, and Flutter Mane. 3 Night Stretcher, 3 Earthen Vessel, 2 Energy Retrieval, 2 Nest Ball, 2 Ultra Ball, 1 Hyper Aroma for the ace spec of choice to find our Espathra and our Xatus is pretty important. 1 Switch, 1 Rescue Board, 2 Pokemon Elite Headquarters, and 9 Psychic Energy. We had that Radiant Alakazam in here with that Painful Spoons. Mind Ruler is a great attack, 20 times. This attack does 20 damage for each card in your opponent's hand. And then once during your turn, you may move up to 2 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another one of their Pokemon. Now, I had said in the intro that this deck doesn't lose a lot in rotation. It loses nothing except Radiant Alakazam. And as far as what to replace Radiant Alakazam with, honestly, I'm not really too sure. Radiant Alakazam is very helpful in the deck as kind of a backup attacker. I can see maybe Klefki making its way into this deck, maybe a second Flutter Mane, maybe even just going for, I don't know, maybe just another kind of more consistency cards, maybe going for a second Switch or something. I'm not too sure what you would put in for it. The counter manipulation is really nice in that way, and having that kind of backup attacker is really good. But as far as everything else goes, this deck does not lose anything when rotation hits, and I've had quite a bit of success with this deck just on the rank ladder and stuff, and it's really, really fun to play. So let's jump right in to that gameplay. Alrighty, here we are at that gameplay here at the coin flip. Gonna be heads here. Our opponent is gonna choose if we go first or second. Ideally, we would like to go first. I could see, now that I've thought about it a little more, the card you would play once right now, Alakazam rotates, is just technically Machine Evolution. I think you just put 1 in there, maybe play Arven or something in the deck, and kind of go that route. Maybe play 2 Arven or something, or maybe 3 Arven, and then play technically Machine Evolution. So going second isn't so bad, but we'll have to see. So we're gonna start with our Flittle here up in the active spot. Gonna have that 30 HP Flittle. but it's got that free retreat, which is super important. And we see a Minccino here. Our opponent is going to be on Lugia V-Star. Now, this deck in our current meta is very good. Lugia is a very good deck in our current metagame going forward, especially up until it rotates. Now that Regidrogo's kind of out of the picture a little bit, Lugia is definitely a front runner that a lot of people are talking about, and we are going to see what Espathra EX can do into Lugia V-Star here. Our opponent going to have Carmine, going to have Radzard, plus that Legacy Energy, going to get a Lugia down. We're going to bench our Natu here. We're going to have access to Messagoza now that they've used it, so we're going to try to Messagoza here. Unfortunately, we hit Tails on that Messagoza. Buddy-Buddy Poffin going to come down here, and we're going to grab ourselves that Budew and another Flittle. Gonna get the free retreat Flittle so we don't have anything about boss stalling. Retreat out of the Flittle into the Budew, attach an energy to our benched Flittle here, and I'm like, you know what? Do I attach the rescue board to my Natu? Do I wait? And I'm just like, maybe I boss and try to stall. So we're trying to kind of wait and see what we're doing here. But we're just going to go for the boss here. Pull up the Lugia V. Now, I kind of wish I would put up the Radzard now knowing what they're going to actually do on their turn. But we're going to pull up the Lugia V here. Itchy Pollen, 10 damage, no items. We're going to shut off that Ultra Ball. No more items. You can't get Archeops in discard pile as easily anymore. But they're going to have access to maybe Read the Wind or something here. So we're just going to have to see. Our opponent going to flip that Messagoza. Hit Tails on the Messagoza, unfortunately. Going to take a little extra time to think about what they want to do. Bench that Lugia V, have research, and have 2 Ultra Balls in their hand. So Itchy Pollen was definitely their way to go for our turn here. Also, pardon me if I have to drink kind of periodically. I am still coming off of having the flu and a cold. So still kind of congested and sore throat. But anyway, back to our turn here. We're going to evolve our Natu into Xatu here. We're going to have access to that Messagoza. We're going to hit heads on the Messagoza. Thank goodness here. We're going to grab ourselves that Espathra EX. We're going to be able to evolve our Flittle into Espathra, Clairvoyant Sense, attach the energy, draw 2. We're going to have access to that rescue board. We're going to put it on our Xatu here, attach the energy for turn to the Espathra, and then we're just going to hit with an Iono here. Going to go Iono, draw 6 cards. We're going to be able to play the Pokemon League headquarters this turn as well, making it so a little more difficult for people to for them to do damage and attack and things like that. And we're going to have Fezandipiti in the hand. We're not going to bench it here. Going to go for that Psyball for 120 and just hope that they don't have a way to get into Lugia V-Star double chops. We're just going to have to see what they got going on here. Going to have the Messagoza bump. Going to use the Messagoza, and they're going to hit heads, unfortunately, here. Messagoza is going to be able to find themselves any Pokemon. They're going to get themselves that Archeops here, and they're going to go Earthen Vessel, ditch the Archeops, fail to find. So we're maybe looking at like a Rahul type build. We're not too sure here, but Iono going to come down, get a nice fresh 6 cards for both of us here. Great ball. Going to be able to find ourselves that Lugia V-Star. Going to be able to capturing Aroma here. Going to find that heads here. And they unfortunately do have enough Archeops, it seems, in the discard pile, or at least have 1 in the discard pile here. So we're just going to have that Lugia V-Star get evolved. The Minccino into Cinccino. Summoning Star going to come down, and we're going to get double chops, unfortunately for us. But we've got a lot of knowledge on our opponent's deck. We saw that Earthen Vessel, so maybe they're playing a Lightning Energy in the deck. Maybe we're going to see an Iron Hands this round. Maybe looking at maybe a Raikou V or something. Maybe they're playing the Rahul Ready kind of build that was going around for a while. And it's still a very solid option, may I put in there. Definitely a very solid option going forward with Lugia, especially with what the format looks like right now. Going to have access to 2 Primal Turbos this turn. That's 4 special energy, unfortunately for us here. So we're going to have to see what they can pull up. Hopefully they don't have, attach Jet for turn, special roll, knock out our Espathra or anything. Unfortunately, our Dazzling Gaze ability isn't too great going into this Lugia deck here, because all of their attacks, like on Cinccino, special roll only costs 2 energy, but they're putting multiple energy on it, right? So the Dazzling Glaze doesn't really impact it as often or as much as we would like, but they're going to commit a lot of energy to the Radiant Charizard here, Combustion Blast for 420 damage, you know, for that fire weakness here to be able to just take the knockout. But we're going to be able to evolve into our Espathra EX. Going to get a Natu down here. And we're going to go, okay, Ultra Ball, discard Flutter Mane, Night Stretcher here. We're going to get ourselves that Fezandipiti EX. Fezandipiti is going to come down here. We're going to have access to Iono first. We're just going to Iono spam here. Going to put them in 4 cards. They're going to get them 4 cards. We're going to get 6 here. Bench another Flittle. We're going to go Clairvoyant Sense. Attach the energy. On accident, I attached the energy to the Xatu, but no need to worry. Not a big deal. We're still going to do enough damage to that Radiant Charizard to take the knockout. So it'll be all right. We're going to go Earthen Vessel, discard the Buddy-Buddy Poffin, get 2 more Psychic Energies here. And you actually see me counting with my mouse. I'm like, okay, am I going to do enough? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to be fine. All right, retreat into this. Dazzling Glaze, or Sideball is going to do 240. But first, put the Messagoza. Hopefully we can get ourselves maybe into another Pokemon here. Unfortunately, we don't. So we're just going to go Sideball for the knockout on that Radiant Charizard. And we're not even going to take a prize card, right? We're not even going to take a prize card because that Legacy Energy, unfortunately. But not only do we get the Radiant Charizard gone, the Legacy Energy's gone, we also managed to have them discard 2 double turbo energy. So they have quite a bit of energy down in the discard pile now, which is very helpful for us. So we're just going to have to piece together the rest of this game, it seems like. Gift Energy was able to draw them some more cards. They're going to go Primal Turbo, be able to just shove a bunch of energies onto their Cincino. Unfortunately, going to have to commit 4 different energies. We got a Mist, a Gift, and double Jet Energy on there. On that Cincino to take a knockout. On our Espathra this turn, it's going to put us to a 2-6 split when they take this knockout. So we're going to have to crawl back in this game here. So we're just going to have to see what we can piece together and hope that it'll work out, right? So they're going to Ultra Ball here, discard some cards from their hand, going to try to just pick up another piece, maybe looking at Fezandipiti EX, be able to flip the script, draw some more cards, maybe Iron Hands and try to just amp one of my Xatus or my Natus or my, my Flittle or something, try to take some extra prize cards because we know they play the Earthen Vessel, so chances are they play a Lightning Energy in the deck as well. So we're just going to have to see what they got going on here or what they're going to piece together. They're definitely going to be taking 2 prize cards this turn, unfortunately. They're just going to bench some Cincino, though, however, try to get maybe a backup Cincino. Special roll, 280. Going to take 2 more prize cards here for our opponent. Going to put us to a 2-6 split, unfortunately. We're going to evolve our Natu into Xatu. We're going to go Nest Ball here. And I'm like, okay, what do I got? We're definitely going to want this Radiant Alakazam so I can just manipulate some damage counters, maybe get a backup attacker. They got a lot of cards in their hand, and we're just going to have to see. So we're going to get down at that Radiant Alakazam. We're going to go Messagoza, try to hit a heads, get ourselves into an Espathra. We don't hit heads, unfortunately. So I'm like, all right, you know what? We're going to try to draw into it. So we're going to go Xatu, attach the energy to the Flittle here, looking to just draw some cards. I actually think I attached the Radiant Alakazam. I apologize. So I attached the Radiant Alakazam because I only need 1 energy on my Espathra to actually take a knockout on the Cincino. So Clairvoyant Sense going to come down again. We're going to have just draw 2 more cards. We get Ultra Ball. We're going to discard our Budew and our Natu here to get ourselves an Espathra EX. Going to be able to evolve into our Espathra here. Gonna just be able to, try to get some more damage counters manipulated a little bit. So we're not looking at Painful Spoons, maybe just moving some stuff around. But I don't even know if it's going to matter if we move anything or not. Because at this point, we're kind of going for the long game, right? We're trying to kind of force them to use a lot of energies and commit a lot of stuff. And I'm like, maybe I go for an attack on Radiant Alakazam. So I'm really back and forth on what I should do. I could have Briared this turn and tried to take 2 prize cards, but I kind of waited and was like, I'd rather Iono, get some disruption. Sure, they're going to draw off a gift. It's not a big deal, but at least I've disrupted them a little bit, and I got a nice big fresh hand for myself. I'm going to go Sideball here for 180. Like I said, trigger that gift energy. They're going to draw 5 cards, unfortunately, but we're going to take a prize card here. Like I said, we could have Briared, but we've only want to take 2 prize cards off of that, putting us to a 4-2 split, which isn't enough to come back. I'd rather save my Briar for maybe a future turn where I have to maybe pull up, maybe the Lugia and take like 3 prizes or something, or maybe just, taking a 2 prize knockout on an Archeops or another Cincino or something. We're not too sure, right? So Capturing Aroma going to come out here, heads on that Capturing Aroma, going to get themselves a Cinccino, but they have 12 energy in the discard pile. Now, most Lugia lists only play about 16 to 17 energy, right? So we're going to have to see kind of what they got going on here. Maybe they don't have enough energy to piece this together. We're just going to have to see here. Capturing Aroma, going to get that heads coin flip. They still have 2 cards in the prizes, right? So they could have prized maybe 2 energies. Maybe they don't have enough energies. Maybe they're only playing like 15 or something in their list. We're not too sure, right? And it's also important to remember, too, that special roll only calculates special energy. So going back, they played Earthen Vessel, so they're probably playing like a Lightning or maybe a Fire or something in the deck. So they might just not even have enough special energy in the deck to piece together this knockout. So we're just going to have to see Capturing Aroma, hitting a Tails, going to get a basic Pokemon here. Going to get that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. Going to go for a Jacques that turn here. Going to get Archeops and Lugia V-Star. Be able to evolve the Lugia V into Lugia V-Star. Still going to have access to that Primal Turbo. They're just trying to thin the deck a little bit, make their draws better. Messagoza, hit that heads, get themselves another Pokemon. We're going to see the Iron Hands EX come down. Ultra Ball going to come down here. Going to discard 2 more Archeops from their hand. So they're going to be able to find themselves another Pokemon out of their deck. Maybe Fezandipiti. They're just going to fail to find that. Maybe we're going to see the Iron Hands benched on their turn here. Maybe try to going for an Ampu very much on our Xatu or something. But they played Jacques. So no boss. They already played their A-Spec, which was Legacy Star. So no Prime Catcher or anything like that. We don't see an Iron Bundle either. And if they did play Iron Bundle, I would just put up the Fezandipiti and have it take the Ampu very much instead of anything else. But they're going to bench that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX here. So maybe going to just kind of wait it out, see if they can get an attack for free, or maybe just 1 energy or something later on. We're going to have to see here. So now, going to our turn, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I'm going to attach the energy to my Espathra. I need another energy to take a knockout, right? I need another energy, and I don't have it. So I'm like, okay, we're going to go Night Stretcher here. We're going to grab ourselves an energy, and I already attached an energy for turn, unfortunately. So now I'm in this awkward spot where I can't put it to the active. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of unfortunate. So I actually just commit the energy to another Xatu. So if I need to Super Psybolt later on, I'll have access to it. I still have energies, right? I have Energy Retrieval in the deck. I have Night Stretcher in the deck. So I have different things I can piece together. But we can Painful Spoons, move some damage counters around. I'm going to move 20 damage counters from that Lugia to that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. And the reason I actually do that is because I'm trying to just put myself in a position to where if I need to take a knockout later on that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, I'll be able to, and I'll have the damage counters on it to make it a little easier on me. Now, we're going to go Psyball for 90 here. So on the following up turn, we've now Iono'd. They have no cards in hand, so we've kind of had another Disruption turn, right? Next turn, I'm going to be able to Painful Spoons, move 2 damage counters off of the Lugia V-Star onto the Cinccino, and then be able to take a knockout on that. They're going to promote either the Blood Moon or the Lugia or something, and then I can punch into that and go from there. So now I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to have access to some stuff. We're going to go, first off, like I said, Painful Spoons, move 2 damage counters to the Cinccino, take that knockout, get that thing out of here, take another prize, putting us to a 4-2 split. We're going to get Pokemon League headquarters off of our prize cards here. We're going to be able to bump that Messagoza potentially as well, making it a little bit harder for our opponent to be able to take a knockout with that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, because that season skill ability is great, but with Dazzling Glaze and Pokemon League headquarters, it's going to cost 2 more for this Blood Moon Ursaluna to actually attack. So even if I go down to only having 1 prize card left, it's still going to cost 2 more. They're only going to have 3, right? So it's going to be a little harder for our opponent to actually take a knockout with that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, but they still might have access to some energy. So we're just going to punch in to that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX here. We're going to have to wait and see what they got going on. They're definitely trying to go for this plate, maybe trying to piece together, boss's orders on a Fezandipiti, take the knockout with that Blood Moon attack. We're just going to have to see. They're going to jet up a Lugia V-Star here, and they're just going to pass turn, unfortunately, for them. And so we're going to go, okay, Radiant Alakazam, we're going to move 2 damage counters from that Blood Moon or that Lugia V-Star to that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX. Attach an energy. We're going to go a Psyball for 180 to the active Lugia V-Star. And and it's going to go to their turn here. And now I'm in a position where I could take a knockout next turn, but then I run the risk of Primal Turbo coming out, putting more energies on that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, and then being able to just go boss for game and win. So I recognize this, and I go, okay, you know what? We're just going to go, you know, Painful Spoons, move 2 damage counters off the Lugia V-Star onto the Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, putting it to 210, and I'm just like, pass turn, right? I have cards in my deck, and I have enough that I won't deck myself out over enough period of time that I can actually go for this play. I can go for this, which the play is going to be, we're going to Painful Spoons, move the damage counters from the bench Lugia V-Star to the Blood Moon Ursaluna over the course of a couple turns, and then take that knockout, go to 2 prize cards, and then be able to knock out the active Lugia V-Star with our Espathra EX Sideball attack. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to go Painful Spoons, Energy Retrieval, and then we're just going to look, okay, 210, we don't need anything. And the reason I put this up so high is because if I need to, I can have to punch into the other Lugia V-Star if they have like another jet to try to buy a turn or something. But they're just going to pass back to us here, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Painful Spoons, move the damage counters again, go from the bench. And then we're just going to go, all right, go up to 250, pass turn. Next turn, I can go Painful Spoons, move that last 10 damage counters to the Blood Moon, take the knockout, and then take the knockout on the active Lugia V-Star for a 4 prize cards in a turn, which is kind of insane to think about with a Espathra EX. They're going to Primal Turbo here, fail to find, just trying to see what we got in the deck, trying to see if they have enough energies to kind of crawl their way back out of this. They're just going to pass back to us here. And I'm like, all right, you know, this is it. We're going to go Radiant Alakazam, move those damage counters, take the knockout, take 2 prize cards, putting us to a 2-2 split here. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play Briar just for fun. Briar, Sideball, taking our last 2 prize cards, taking the knockout on the Lugia V-Star for 4 prizes in that single turn there to win us the game against Lugia V-Star, one of the decks that's going to run this current format before rotation just absolutely rampant. And like I said, I think Espathra EX is a really good deck in this current metagame. It has a lot of control elements to it. You don't lose anything except that Radiant Alakazam going into rotation. So this deck's basically rotation proof minus that Radiant Alakazam, like I said, which is a big loss for the deck, especially like you had seen in this game here. But I still feel like this deck can hold its own post-rotation. So now let's jump right in to that outro. Quick outro, quick. All right, it's going to do for today's video. If you guys enjoy the content I've been making stuff for the channel, don't forget to leave a like, smash the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And I'll make sure to also post the deck list that I played in today's video in the description below, ready for copy paste into TCG Live. I highly recommend giving Espathra EX a try, not only in our current format, but once rotation hits as well. But that's going to do it for today's video. So I will see you all in the next one. Peace!